how to choose between a Roth or a traditional retirement account. Let me first start by saying that there's no right and there's no wrong. It's really just what makes the most sense for you. Either one is a tax play. And what I mean by that is, do you want to pay the tax man first? Do you want to pay the tax man now? Or do you want to wait and pay the tax man later? So again, depending on your personal situation, both where you are now and where you think you're going to be, say in your 60s and 70s, will really drive the equation as far as which makes the most sense for you. So with the Roth now, I've paid my taxes on the amount that was contributed, okay? So the amount that was contributed, I already paid my taxes, and now what happens is when those monies grow, so let's say I'm in my 30s, I'm not, but let's say I was in my 30s or 20s, and then I put the money in the account, and it was in there for, say, 20, 30, maybe 40 years, then theoretically, that money would grow, okay? And then when I took it out, that money, I wouldn't pay any taxes on that. So I'm in my 60s now, I'm ready to start taking distributions, I'm not going to pay taxes. So let's just, again, use some nice round numbers. Put money in the account all my life, okay? I put in myself $100,000. And over my lifetime, that money grew an extra $10,000. Okay, that's profit. That $10,000 is just profit from over my lifetime. That $10,000, when I take it out, it's not taxed. It grows tax-free because I paid it in the beginning. I paid taxes when I had my first paycheck, and I paid it every paycheck, okay? So if you say to yourself, well, I think I have a good chance of making money in the market, I'm going to be in the markets for some time, and therefore I would rather pay the taxes now, and then I'll take it out later because I'm assuming or I'm hoping that the money's going to grow. When I do, it'll be much more than when I originally put in. For some people, they also might be in a higher tax bracket later in their 60s than when they are now. So if you're in a low tax bracket now, but you think that maybe in my 60s, maybe I'll continue working, or you think you'll be in a higher tax bracket for whatever reason, then also it would make sense to pay your taxes now and not pay it at a higher tax bracket. A traditional IRA, 401k, 403b, you pay your taxes later. You pay when you take them out. So what happens is it's a great way to reduce your current tax burden. So let's say it's the current year, I have a high tax bracket. To reduce overall taxes, I can open up a traditional 401k, 403b, IRA. Those contributions reduce my overall taxable income for that year. So let's say I'm in one tax bracket, and if I'm at the cusp of that between a higher tax bracket and a lower tax bracket, if I can make a high enough contribution to bring me into a lower tax bracket, now not only am I not paying taxes on that income and reducing my tax burden that way, but now it's possible that I might actually be in a lower tax bracket. Obviously this is not going to work for everybody, but if you're on that border, that cusp of a higher versus a lower tax bracket, that's something to think about. Because now and again, not only are you not paying taxes on that income, but overall your taxes are going to be lowered as well. Maybe from say a 26% to a 24%. Again, I'm just using very round numbers, very arbitrary numbers. But again, something to think about. When you do take out your money, so let's say 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, you've had a traditional the whole time. You're not paying taxes on it, but then now you're in your 60s and 70s, when you get distributions, those will be taxed at whatever your tax bracket is. So again, I think for the average person whose earnings climb over their lifetime, when you retire, now you're on fixed income, so now your overall tax bracket may be lower. So you may be in a higher tax bracket when you're working, and then when you take out your distributions, you may be at that point in a lower tax bracket, because again, you're living on mostly fixed income at that time. So there's a number of different things to think about. And again, it's not a right, it's not a wrong, it's simply a tax play. Do I want to take the chance and pay my taxes now and assume the money is going to grow? And the only reason why I say take the chance is that you're going to see a lot of different, very pretty charts for all these different indexes and all these different types of funds, and they'll have an upward swing to them. The only problem with that is the economy in general has been going through a boom and a bust cycle approximately every 10 years. So let's say in the 90s we had the savings and loan bubble. Then in 2000 we had the dot-com bubble. Then in 2008, 2009 we had this debt bubble. So will there be another one in 2018, 2019, 2020? We're not here to forecast the future, but all I'm saying is that's also something to think about. It's an additional risk to consider. People who thought they were going to be retiring in 2008, 2009, 2010 couldn't, because their retirement plans were cut down by 40%, in some cases 50%. They lost that much money with when the market had its little oops. So they couldn't retire, they had to keep working. As a result, if you have a Roth and you're thinking you're going to be making all this money and taking out tax-free, it very well may be true, but it might not. So with the Roth, you're taking that additional risk that it's going to grow, whereas with the traditional, you're reducing your tax burden now, and therefore you see the benefit now. And then again, for most people, when they retire, they're going to be on a fixed income, and that at that point when they do have their distributions, then it'll be a lower tax bracket than when they were working. And if they paid income when they were working, income taxes on the income while they were working, it would be higher than paying taxes in the 60s or 70s, again, because they are on a fixed income and their income bracket is therefore less. Is that the case for everybody? No. So that's why you need to think and you say to yourself, what makes the most sense for me? Okay? No right, no wrong, it's whatever works for you. Okay, so I hope this was helpful. As always, you take care.